Even I sometimes am baffled at how fundamentally pathetic the socioeconomic elite of our nation are. So Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, or whatever the hell his name is, was doing an interview some time ago. And it was an interview about farmers because the Trump administration is because the Trump administration and the conservative elite are utterly destroying our farms, like fundamentally destroying our farms, so that like their big tech oligarch elites will be able to buy up all the land and use it to create their cyberpunk dystopian death city. But the Treasury Secretary was giving a speech, and he was trying to pretend like he was some down-to-earth, man of the soil, like, hey guys, I'm a farmer too. In fact, I run some of the largest farms in this country. In fact, it might even be true to say that I know more about farming than anyone has ever known, than any Treasury Secretary has ever known about farming. And then someone had to pop in to his speech and point out to him that, well, though you're not a farmer, you just own farms. You purchased farms. You own investment shares in farming corporations. And the reason I bring this up is because I have seen this exact sequence of events where a rich person owns a farm and then pretends that they are a farmer because of it. And then someone has to point out to them, well, you've never actually worked on a farm or done any farm work. You just purchased shares in a corporation. Because the elite of our society are so fundamentally deluded about their importance to our economic system that they've reached the point where they believe just owning shares in something, owning a business, is the same thing as making the thing the business produces, being responsible for the business's output. They believe that being the guy who spent some money to purchase shares of a corporation is the same thing as being the most important person responsible for what the business is doing. And it's utterly pathetic. Like, we have an entire caste. I often say this, but at least once upon a time, the elites were monsters, but at least they did things. They did valuable things. Our current cast of elites today are a bunch of LARPing losers who think because they were handed a couple $1 million when they were 18 years old and purchased some shares in a corporation, that's the same thing as them contributing anything to our society.